It starts with fireworks. A summer night, the president and the first lady standing together, looking up as color explodes across a dark sky. It's the kind of clip the White House posts all the time. Pretty lights, a proud caption, nothing unusual, except for one thing. In the background, playing under the fireworks, is a song written by the biggest pop star on the planet. A song she never agreed to lend. A song that within 72 hours would vanish from the video completely, replaced by silence, then by something else entirely. And that's not the only clip it happened to. Somewhere else on the same set of accounts, another video quietly lost its soundtrack too. One day, the words of a love song played under images of the president. The next day, all that's left is a flat, robotic message. This sound isn't available. No press conference, no statement, no explanation, just gone. If you've been anywhere near the internet this month, you've probably already heard whispers about this. Taylor Swift's music, disappearing from Donald Trump's official channels, one video at a time. But the real story, the story underneath the headlines, goes back further than a single week in August. It goes back years, through an election, a feud, an engagement, a wedding, and one of the strangest ongoing standoffs between a pop star and a president in American history. So let's slow down. Let's actually walk through it from the beginning and understand exactly how we got to a White House TikTok account quietly deleting Taylor Swift's voice from its own videos. Because once you see the whole picture, that fireworks clip stops looking like a coincidence. It starts looking like the latest chapter in a story that has been building for a very long time. Picture the year, 2024. It's late summer. Donald Trump is running for president again, up against Vice President Kamala Harris. Trump has always had a strange fascination with Taylor Swift, not as a fan, but as a phenomenon. She fills stadiums. She moves markets. She has more cultural gravity than almost anyone alive. And for a certain kind of politician, that gravity is irresistible. If you could just borrow a fraction of it, imagine what it might do for you. So one weekend that August, Trump does something that will end up defining the entire relationship between him and Swift for years to come. He shares a set of images on his social media account. In one of them, Taylor Swift is dressed up as Uncle Sam, pointing outward, with text urging people to vote for him. Alongside it, pictures of young women in shirts that say Swifties for Trump. There's just one problem. None of it is real. The Uncle Sam image is AI generated. It didn't come from Swift, and it didn't come from her camp. It turns out, when people start digging, that the image had actually first appeared months earlier in a completely different context, created and shared, ironically, as a joke in support of the other party. Somewhere along the way, it got scooped up, repurposed, and now here it is, sitting on the account of a former president, dressed up like an endorsement. Trump captions the post with 2 words, "I accept." As if Taylor Swift had reached out to him directly, as if this was real. It spreads fast, because of course it does. Put Taylor Swift's face next to a presidential campaign, and the algorithm does the rest. Fact-checkers scramble to explain that the image is fabricated. Watchdog groups raise alarms about AI-generated political content. And somewhere, quietly, Taylor Swift is watching all of this happen to her image without her permission. She doesn't respond right away. For weeks, actually, she says nothing at all. Then comes September 10th, a presidential debate. Trump and Harris go head-to-head on a stage in Pennsylvania. And by most measures, it's a rough night for Trump. The next day, Taylor Swift breaks her silence, but not about the debate performance, about something bigger. She posts to Instagram, to an audience that at the time numbers close to 280 million people. She writes that she'll be voting for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. She calls Harris a steady-handed leader, and then she explains why she's speaking up now, when she'd stayed quiet for so long. She says she was made aware of an AI-generated image of herself, falsely suggesting she endorsed Trump's campaign. She says it stirred up real fear about how artificial intelligence can spread misinformation. And she says the simplest way to fight a lie is with the truth. So here's the truth in her own words, posted for hundreds of millions of people to see. It's a striking moment, not just a celebrity endorsement, a direct response to being digitally impersonated by a presidential campaign. She even includes a photo of herself holding her cat, with a caption calling herself, only half jokingly, a childless cat lady, a nod to comments made by Trump's own running mate that had drawn plenty of backlash that summer. Trump does not take the endorsement well. Just days later, on a Sunday, he posts 3 words on his social platform, in all capital letters. I hate Taylor Swift. No elaboration, no context needed. It's blunt, it's public, and it becomes one of the most quoted lines of the entire campaign season. Late night shows run with it. Headlines everywhere repeat it. For a moment, the sitting former president and the world's biggest pop star are locked in the most unlikely, one-sided rivalry in American politics. Trump goes on to win that November. He's sworn in again in January 2025. And you might think that would be the end of the story, a losing endorsement, a bitter post, and then everyone moves on with their lives. But it isn't the end, not even close, because over the months that follow, something strange keeps happening. Trump keeps bringing her up, not in policy speeches, not in interviews about the economy, just randomly, almost obsessively, at one point, months after the election. He writes online that ever since he declared his hatred for her, she hasn't been as popular, as if he'd personally deflated her career with a single truth social post. It is, to put it gently, not an accurate read of Taylor Swift's cultural standing. Her tour is still breaking records. Her albums are still topping charts. But the comment says something interesting about how Trump seems to see this relationship. Less like a passing political dust-up, and more like an ongoing rivalry he's determined to win. Now here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Late summer of 2025, roughly a year after the I Hate Taylor Swift post, Taylor Swift gets engaged to Travis Kelce, the football star, a tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. A relationship that had already made headlines for 2 years by that point, turning NFL broadcasts into inadvertent pop culture events every time the cameras found her in a stadium suite. And something shifts in Trump's tone. Instead of hostility, there's almost a strange kind of enthusiasm. When reports surfaced that Travis Kelce's plane touched down at an airport recently renamed in Trump's honor, with Swift and the couple's dog reportedly on board, Trump seems almost giddy about it, like a superfan catching a glimpse of celebrity near his own turf. It's a jarring contrast to I Hate Taylor Swift. 1 year, contempt. The next, something closer to starstruck. Then this year, 2026, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce get married. It's a massive, closely guarded event in New York, packed with A-list guests, and it dominates entertainment coverage for days. Through all of this, though, Swift herself stays almost entirely out of politics. No new statements about Trump. No fresh commentary about the administration. She seems to be doing what she's done for most of her career at its most controlled moments. Staying quiet, staying focused on her music, and letting other people fill the silence with speculation. Which brings us to the White House itself, and a completely different battlefield. Because while Trump's personal feelings about Swift were swinging back and forth, something else was happening behind the scenes. The way his administration was running its own social media accounts. If you've watched official government accounts over the years, you know they tend to be careful. Boring, even on purpose. Press releases, photo ops, statements vetted by 3 different offices before they go live. But the accounts run for Trump's White House and his campaign in this second term look almost nothing like that. They're fast. They're loose. They post the kind of content you'd expect from an internet meme page, not a federal government office. Trolling posts aimed at political opponents, edited clips set to trending audio, captions dripping with sarcasm. Layers of approval that used to slow everything down seem to have mostly disappeared. And if you're running an account like that, trying to win the internet's attention one scroll at a time, there's one tool that works better than almost anything else. music. Specifically, music that people already love. Posts with popular songs attached get more likes, more comments, more shares, more new followers. The algorithm rewards familiarity. And there is perhaps no artist on earth whose music triggers more instant recognition and more instant engagement than Taylor Swift, which is exactly why this year her songs start showing up in places nobody expected. Back in April, the White House posts a video showing the crew of a NASA mission called Artemis 2, meeting with President Trump the day before their launch. It's meant to be a proud, ceremonial moment. Astronauts, the president, a milestone in America's return to deep space travel. But underneath the footage, someone on the social media team makes a choice. They lay in a Taylor Swift track, an older song, and pair the video with a line from its lyrics reworked into the caption, asking playfully where someone was on a certain date in April, a wink connecting the song's words to the timing of the post itself. It's clever in a certain internet brain kind of way. It's also notably using Taylor Swift's song without her blessing for a presidential publicity moment months after I Hate Taylor Swift had become a meme in its own right. Nobody stops them. The clip stays up. The music stays in it. Then in November, they go even further. And this time, the choice is almost impossible to read as accidental. Taylor Swift had just released a brand new album, her 12th studio record, and its lead single had shot straight to #1. It's a huge, inescapable song, the kind that dominates radio and every algorithmic feed for weeks at a time. And on November 3rd, the White House posts a TikTok video using that very song. Lyrics from the track appear on screen. Time to the music, laid over a rotating set of photos of President Trump. It is, by any measure, a strange choice. Here's an artist who very publicly campaigned against this president. Here's a caption calling out to her by name. In a video literally borrowing her freshest, most culturally dominant work of the year. Whoever runs that account clearly knows exactly what they're doing. Using a real hit song is guaranteed to pull in views. And using that specific artist song, given the history, is guaranteed to pull in headlines too. Sure enough, it does exactly that. Journalists and commentators pick it up almost instantly, framing it as either audacious trolling or outright provocation. And later, when reporters push the administration's team for comment, someone on the inside all but admits the whole thing was designed to generate exactly that reaction, to get outlets buzzing over the mismatch between the song and the subject, almost daring people to be outraged by it. In other words, the confusion wasn't a mistake. It was the plan. And then we arrive at the moment that kicks off everything we open with. Early August 2026, that fireworks video, President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump watching a display of lights over, most likely a summer holiday celebration, and underneath it, another Taylor Swift track plays. This one, a wistful late summer song about memory and heartbreak of all things, chosen to sit under a proud presidential family moment. The caption practically taunts the situation directly. It says more or less that surely Taylor Swift is going to be thrilled they used her song, tagging her by name, hashtagging her fan base, hashtagging the political movement behind the president, hashtagging the song itself. It reads like a dare, and for a moment, it looks like the dare paid off. The video circulates. People notice. The same pattern as November repeats. Outrage, attention, engagement, the exact currency that fast, loose, meme-driven government accounts are built to chase. But this time, something answers back. Within days, not weeks, days, the song is gone from that video. In its place, a different track entirely, a country-flavored tune with lyrics that leave absolutely no ambiguity about where its loyalties lie. Something built specifically around slogans associated with the president's movement. The caption stays exactly the same, still baiting Taylor Swift by name, but the song underneath it now belongs to someone else entirely. Around the same time, other clips start losing their soundtracks too. One video, built around lyrics from a song about a complicated, imperfect father figure, laid over images of the president, simply stops playing music altogether. In its place, a flat, gray message. This sound isn't available in your country. No explanation beyond that. No acknowledgement that anything unusual happened. And then there's a third one, a post that had been styled visually to echo the cover art of one of Swift's most iconic albums, the deep red one, accompanied by a caption joking about how she'd supposedly written an entire record about the color associated with the opposing political party. That video, too, ends up stripped of music, left with nothing but silence where a song used to be. 3 videos, 3 quiet removals, no fanfare, no statement from the White House, no statement from Taylor Swift either. So what actually happened here? Nobody involved has said so directly, but the mechanics point in a pretty clear direction. Major platforms like TikTok run automated systems that check whether a piece of music is licensed for use in a given video. Rights holders, record labels, publishers, sometimes artists themselves, can flag unauthorized use and have it blocked or muted. It doesn't require a public statement. It doesn't require a press release. It just requires someone, somewhere, quietly telling the platform, take that down. Which means that even though Taylor Swift herself said nothing publicly, someone on her side almost certainly didn't stay silent at all. Somewhere behind the scenes, a request went out, and within days, the sound cut off. It's a strikingly different response from what's happened with other artists caught in the same situation. Because Taylor Swift is far from the only musician whose work has ended up on a Trump campaign or White House account without permission. Over the past year alone, artists like Sabrina Carpenter, Olivia Rodrigo, Katy Perry, Noah Kahan, and Ariana Grande have all had very public, very vocal reactions to their music being used in political content they never approved of. These artists posted about it, called it out directly, made their objections part of the public conversation. Taylor Swift didn't do any of that. She let the music simply disappear without a single public word. And if you know anything about how carefully Taylor Swift manages her public image, that silence is its own kind of statement. This is an artist who is famously, meticulously protective of her brand. Someone who has fought record labels over ownership of her own recordings, who has organized entire album re-releases just to reclaim control of her back catalog, who treats her intellectual property less like a product and more like a fortress. For someone with that level of control, letting a political account quietly use her songs, unremarked upon in public, would be completely out of character. The quiet legal muscle behind the scenes fits her far better than a viral clapback ever would. It helps to remember just how large the operation behind Taylor Swift actually is. This isn't a solo artist fielding requests from her kitchen table. There's a business empire built around her. A team of lawyers, a management company, a record label, publishing rights, merchandising deals, tour logistics spanning continents. When something involving her name or her music shows up somewhere it shouldn't, there's an entire machine designed to notice quickly and respond quietly. That's exactly why the pattern we've seen play out looks the way it does. Fast removals, fast blocks, zero public drama. It isn't that nobody on her side cares. It's that the response happens in inboxes and legal filings, not on Instagram. Compare that to her online presence. More broadly, this is a musician who built one of the largest fan communities on the planet in part by being unusually direct with them, dropping surprise announcements, responding to fan theories, treating her audience like co-conspirators in the unfolding of her own career. If she wanted to say something about a president's team lifting her songs for political content, she absolutely could, and it would dominate headlines within minutes. The fact that she hasn't, even once across an astronaut video, a chart-topping single repurposed for a slideshow, and now a whole cluster of clips in a single week, tells you something about the strategy at play. Public silence, paired with private enforcement, keeps the story about the White House's choices rather than about her reaction to them. It denies the provocation, the thing it's actually chasing, a reply. It's also worth zooming out here, because this isn't actually a new phenomenon in American politics. Musicians pushing back against politicians who use their songs without asking goes back decades. There's a long history of artists sending cease and desist letters to campaigns across the political spectrum after their music showed up at rallies or in ads without consent, a pattern so common, it's practically its own political tradition at this point. Usually, it plays out the same way. Campaign uses song artist objects publicly. Campaign either apologizes or digs in, and the story fades within a news cycle or two. Think back to the 1980s when a president running for re-election tried to borrow the energy of a booming rock anthem for his campaign stops, only for the songwriter behind it to publicly object, pointing out that the song was actually a pretty bleak commentary on how working-class veterans had been treated by their country. Not exactly the flag-waving victory lap the campaign wanted it to sound like. That mismatch between what a song actually means and how a politician wants to use it shows up again and again across the decades. Politicians hear a big chorus and a driving beat and assume that's the whole story. Songwriters, understandably, get frustrated when their work gets flattened into a slogan. Trump himself has been down this road many times before, long before Taylor Swift entered the picture. Rolling out rally playlists across 2 prior campaigns, his team repeatedly reached for classic rock and pop staples, and repeatedly got hit with public objections from the artists behind them. Legendary rock bands, chart-topping pop acts, arena-filling rock veterans, all at different points asking, sometimes politely and sometimes not, for their music to be taken off the set list. One artist even filed a lawsuit over it, arguing that using a song at a political rally without permission created a false impression that the artist personally supported the candidate. That specific argument, that unauthorized use implies an endorsement that was never given, sits at the exact center of the Taylor Swift situation too. It's the same complaint, just moved from a rally stage to a TikTok feed. What's different this time is the platform doing the borrowing. A campaign playing a song through stadium speakers is one thing, messy, common, and usually resolved with a strongly worded letter. A sitting president's official White House account posting a produced, caption video using a chart-topping song from an artist who very publicly opposed him is something else. It isn't a rally soundtrack anymore. It's government-produced media, backed by taxpayer-funded staff, deliberately built around a specific artist's cultural cachet. What makes this particular chapter different is the platform. This isn't a campaign rally with a sound system and a set list. This is the official government account of the White House itself. Not just a candidate's campaign, but the presidency posting content set to a pop star's protected work on some of the most heavily trafficked social platforms in the country. It blurs a line that used to feel a little more solid. The line between campaigning, which has always played fast and loose with music rights, and governing, which is supposed to operate with a bit more caution and restraint. And there's an even stranger layer sitting underneath all of it, the personal history between these 2 people specifically. This isn't a random musician whose song happened to get picked for a B-roll clip. This is the same artist Trump falsely claimed had endorsed him using an AI-generated image. The same artist he publicly said he hated in all capital letters after she endorsed his opponent. The same artist he seemed almost giddily excited about a year later, once her personal life turned toward marriage and away from politics. And now, this year, the same artist whose music his own government keeps reaching for, again and again, seemingly aware every single time exactly how much attention doing so will generate. It raises a genuinely interesting question about motive. Is this really about the music? Or is the music, almost beside the point, a tool for generating exactly this kind of conversation? Exactly this kind of headline? Exactly this kind of moment where millions of people stop scrolling and start paying attention to an otherwise unremarkable government social media post? Because here's the thing about outrage on the internet. It doesn't actually care whether it's positive or negative. A clip that gets mocked for using Taylor Swift's song without permission still racks up the same views, the same shares, the same algorithmic boost as a clip people genuinely love. If the goal is simply to be seen, to dominate a news cycle, to stay in the center of the cultural conversation, no matter what the conversation actually says, then getting caught misusing a pop star's music and having it quietly yanked away might not be a failure at all. it might be exactly the outcome someone was hoping for. That's speculation, of course. Nobody inside the White House's social media operation has confirmed that using Taylor Swift's music was a deliberate provocation rather than a simple mistake or a low-level staffer's impulsive choice. But given how many times this exact pattern has now repeated, April, then November, then twice more in a single week this August, it stretches credulity to call it a coincidence every single time. So where does that leave things? As of right now, the videos remain up, just without the songs that once played underneath them. The fireworks clip still shows the president and first lady watching lights bloom across the sky. Except now it's soundtracked by a very different kind of song, one whose message leaves nothing open to interpretation. The clip, referencing father figure, plays out in total silence where music used to be, just that flat little error message sitting where a love song once lived. And the red-inspired post sits there too, stripped down, its joke about the color of a political party now landing with a slightly hollow thud, because the joke depended on the song actually being there to hear. Taylor Swift, for her part, has said nothing, not a single public word about any of it. Not the fireworks, not the astronauts, not the #1 single borrowed for a presidential slideshow back in November. She's been busy, by every account, living an entirely different kind of life this year. Newly married, deep into the rollout of her latest album, performing, releasing, building the actual work that made her the most powerful musical artist of her generation in the first place. And maybe that's the most telling detail of the whole story. A president who over 2 years has called her hateful names, falsely claimed her endorsement, publicly gloated about her supposed decline, then flipped to fawning over her personal life, and who now keeps reaching for her songs again and again to fuel his own government's social media accounts, chasing a reaction from someone who, this entire time, has said absolutely nothing back. No statement, no comment, no acknowledgement that any of it even happened, just silence. And behind that silence, apparently a very quiet, very effective phone call to a platform's rights management team, making sure that whatever message those videos were trying to send, it wouldn't get to keep her voice attached to it. To really appreciate why her name carries this much weight in the first place, it helps to remember the scale of what she built to get here. Her most recent world tour became the highest-grossing concert tour in history, filling stadium after stadium across multiple continents for the better part of 2 years, generating billions in economic activity in the cities she passed through. Hotels booked solid, restaurants breaking sales records, whole local economies feeling a temporary boost every time she rolled into town. She's been named Artist of the Decade. She's one of the youngest people ever inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. She has fans who analyze her lyrics like scripture and fans who couldn't name a single one of her songs but still know exactly who she is. That kind of reach doesn't happen by accident, and it doesn't happen quickly. It's the product of 2 decades of relentless, closely managed work, which is exactly why a handful of unauthorized political TikTok clips can feel, to her team, like something worth quietly shutting down within days rather than letting slide. It also explains why a single social media account borrowing her music, even briefly, generates this much conversation in the first place. When a smaller artist gets sampled without permission online, it might not even register as news. When it's an artist whose name alone can move a news cycle, whose fan base numbers in the tens of millions and checks in on her daily, every twist becomes its own small event. Dissected, screenshotted, argued about, turned into exactly the kind of viral moment that made her music worth reaching for to begin with. The removals get noticed for the same reason the original posts did. Her name is the story, whether she says a word or not. Whether this is the end of the pattern or just the latest round in it is genuinely hard to say, given how often the White House's accounts have already reached for her music. Quietly, then loudly, then quietly again. There's a real chance this happens again before the year is out. Another clip, another caption daring her to react, another silent removal a few days later. If it does, you can bet it'll follow the exact same rhythm we've just walked through. A splashy post, a wave of attention, a quiet legal nudge from somewhere behind the curtain, and then once again, the sound just fades away. There's also a broader question sitting quietly underneath all of this, one that goes beyond any single artist or any single president. As government accounts increasingly behave like meme pages, chasing engagement with the same tools influencers and comedy accounts use, how much of that playbook is actually compatible with running an official government office? A campaign account courting controversy is one thing. Campaigns have always lived a little on the edge, testing what they can get away with in the name of attention. But the White House isn't a campaign. It's the executive branch of the United States government, run with taxpayer resources, representing the country as a whole, not just the people who voted for the person currently occupying the building. When that account starts behaving like a meme page, baiting a pop star by name, daring her fans to react, needling a private citizen for a reaction cycle, it raises a fair question about where exactly the line between governing and content creation is supposed to sit, and whether that line still exists at all. It also says something about the strange economics of modern fame. Taylor Swift doesn't need the exposure. She doesn't need the extra ticket sales, the extra streams, the extra headlines. If anything, being pulled into a political tug-of-war she never asked to join is a liability for someone who has spent years trying to keep her brand as broadly appealing as possible, careful not to alienate any single slice of her enormous, ideologically mixed fan base. And yet, over and over, her music keeps getting reached for anyway. Not because anyone asked her, but because her name alone is worth more attention than almost anything else available. That's the strange position massive fame puts a person in. You become a resource other people reach for, whether you want to be used that way or not. The only real power left in that position is the power to say no quietly after the fact and let the silence speak for itself. And somewhere in all of that noise, the one voice everyone's actually curious to hear from, the artist whose music keeps getting borrowed without asking, stays exactly as quiet as she's been from the very start, which might be the loudest statement of all.